Joining me again in the studio, political analyst Onur Erim, and Aysenur Eygi dedicated big parts of her life. She chose to take a personal time to highlight the oppression of the Palestinian people. She made the long journey all the way to the occupied West Bank to highlight what Israeli settlers were doing, forcing Palestinians out of their homes. So let's pay respect to that by discussing that. Just how bad is the situation in the occupied West Bank? I mean, it does seem like it's becoming more violent on the daily basis.
As she's being lowered to her eternal resting place, I think it's important to mention that, paying the ultimate sacrifice for something you believe in, no matter what it would be, is definitely noble. But as in Aysenur's case, that cause being just help humanity, just so few more human beings in this world live a little better or see another day, is of divine proportion. This is just unbelievable. Such a young lady, such a courageous young lady, knowing the dangers, are going there.
And just to point out, as I said, she's not just an activist on a campus who puts up a placard. How many people go to the trouble of travelling to another country and knowing you're in direct peril to make a protest? That's a different level.
Honestly, I would question myself whether I could do it or not. I would have that courage to do it or not. Because it's a place where people are being civilians for no reason. And in some cases, just for the joy, the sick joy of some IDF, maybe not all, but some IDF members, you know that you could be killed just for walking under seat or sleeping. You have to do nothing else. To know this and go there for no purpose other than, just helping another human being, whether it's a child, woman, man, doesn't matter.
And she will have known the risks.
Yeah, and yes, absolutely. And honestly, I don't know if I could do that, to be perfectly honest. That's why I take my hat off to Aysenur and many like her over the decades that were actually able to show this courage, to go out, help, raise awareness, and ultimately paying the ultimate sacrifice for this cause. This is of divine proportion. I don't really know how to, I don't know the words, or I can't put the words together to be able to explain how Aysenur and unfortunately, many people like her, this courage that they were able to show. And I think as any human being around the world, whether you're Muslim, Christian, Jewish, or unfaithful, doesn't matter, or any color skin you have, I think this should at least give us some kind of awakening to be able to do something, each of us, anywhere around the globe, on our own, to be able to end this tragedy that's been going on for decades and for no reason other than people that want to live in their homes in peace. The situation, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say, presumably, when someone like Aysenur goes to that length to go to a dangerous area and to stand up in the street and make a protest, they're not trying to influence the soldiers, the Israeli forces there. They're wanting it to be seen that they are there and that they are standing up, and presumably they want that message to go out, so it's shining a light on a dark area. Ultimately, do you think if enough people like Aysenur behave like that, is that the way to find peace in the region, by shining more light on what is happening there?
I think so. I think that will pave the path to a worldwide awareness, a worldwide awakening. I mean, look what's going on, especially since October 7th, with all this unparalleled, uncalled for attacks by the IDF on civilians since October 7th. Nearly 50,000 people being just slain for no reason. Look at all this is raising, especially in the Western countries, in the US as well. Now, all those regimes in those countries, in UK, in France, in Germany, in Italy, in the United States, the regimes are trying to suppress these voices, but it's actually coming to a point where they cannot hold this in the bag anymore. And as more people try to be as courageous as Aysenur, and I hope a lot of people accomplish this without getting murdered by the IDF, I think this will actually put more pressure on the Western regimes that are trying to turn that's not trying, who are, turning a blind eye, a covered ears, and no feelings. So maybe just piece by piece, just bit by bit, we will be able to actually force these leaders of these regimes in UK, in Germany, in France, in the United States, to say, stop this, enough is enough,
We've had our correspondent Fatah Nelwan in the occupied West Bank on a daily basis. She reports what she sees, she shows us the pictures, but even she says there's very little information coming out of the occupied West Bank. Is that part of what we're seeing, in that information is controlled, a narrative is controlled, people are starved of the information of what's going in there? So does that make it even more important when you see just everyday citizens going there and telling what they see and sending that message back via social media and spreading the word in that viral way?
Of course, they have been the people in Gaza, the citizens in Gaza, the Palestinians, and to a certain degree, probably West Bank too now that we understand, they had been in an absolute solitary confinement type of a prison, not even an open prison. Gaza is not an open prison, it's a solitary confinement in all sense of the word. For years, the information is maybe leaked sometimes. The communication is at best very scarce. You cannot go in, you cannot go out. So whatever IDF is doing with the support of US and most of the Western Europe, they do. And then they have the ability and the chance to reorchestrate whatever they are doing or whatever is happening in the way they like to portray. Very simple. Very, very simple. Honestly, as I said before, the sad part is nobody even feels the need to conceal this anymore. Nobody even feels the need, the Westerners, the Western Europeans, the Americans, the IDF for sure, they don't even feel the need to, okay, let's, we're doing all these things, but let's at least make it look good. They don't even feel that anymore. They don't need to. They just say, hey, this is how we are, and this is how we do it. You know what? Maybe it's a bad analogy, but years ago, when the Exxon tanker had, just had a massacre of environment in Alaska, there was a big public pressure, and I remember this. Most of the bumper stickers and the T-shirts putting pressure on that company just said, it was kind of funny, sarcastic. It said, we don't care, we don't have to care, we're Exxon. That's how the public pressure got built. So right now, it's the same thing, we don't care, we don't have to care, we're Israel. Very simple.
We've seen, with the large number of deaths, and we know many of them, no one can argue they were combatants, the women and the children, more than half of the people, it's universally agreed. So that's more than 20,000 innocent victims. We understand that Israel, and it's unsaid, but it's kind of confirmed by US support. They all agree that through their actions, these victims don't count. Their deaths are irrelevant, is how I would interpret that. And yet, despite that, we've seen that one person, their life and their death, can have huge impact. This is a kind of strange contradiction. Many people consider to be insignificant, but one person, one young lady, has proved that she was significant. So it is possible.
It is. You know what? You hit on a very good word, irrelevant. It seems like just a simple word, but it's actually a very heavy word. That's how the West feels, that all these deaths are irrelevant. But you know what? Sometimes, maybe it's the essence of the time. I don't know what it is. Maybe Aysenur, who Aysenur was, or where she is from, both the U.S. citizen and a Turkish citizen. Sometimes it just takes one person, despite the thousands, tens of thousands of people being massacred. Sometimes it's one that really, puts out the big flare. Unfortunately, as tragic as this is, I think she would also be in her eternal rest, and she would also find some very good peace that if she's able to start something like this, I think that would make her feel very good if she knew this. So this may well be. But listen, whether Aysenur's tragic slaughter becomes a pillar of things where, you know, things are starting to change or not, it is not her death that will do this. It is her death, of course, but it is up to us, to the public, and to media all around the world, to be able to make this into what it is. It may be start of a movement, maybe start of a new way of relaying things to people that just want to, you know, close an eye and cover an ear, maybe. But it's up to us. This is a very significant human being, as we could see in her short life. She actually did a lot. She probably did a lot more than I could ever do in 3 lifetimes. You know, that's why I bow my head to her, to her memory. But I think it's up to us now to be able to see what she has done in just 24 years of her life. You know, by the way, doing these as a female in the region is maybe 10 times as hard as doing it as a male, that we all know as well. Maybe this will, you know, move us. So it's up to us. It's up to people, concerned people about humanity around the world. It's up to the media who feel responsible to really go after what is important for human beings all over the world, not just for this country or that country or this religion or that religion. So hopefully her tragic death will actually awake people. But again, it's going to be up to us whether we make this tragic event into something more meaningful, where it actually moves people to be able to stop the atrocities of IDF and Israel.